I'm Brett Lesperance with Tribe Title in Brighton, Michigan, and today's guest is Jacovetti, and he's a realtor at Keller Williams. Jacob, thanks for coming in today. I wanted to talk to you today just because I like interviewing agents. What this does for you guys is gives you a chance to get some exposure outside of your normal social media, lets people really kind of get to know you as a person and what differentiates you from everybody else aside from statistics. So thanks for joining us today. First thing I wanted to ask you was a little bit about your journey and how you got into real estate.
Oh, my journey's a fun one. So during COVID, they shut everything down, and I was in the bar industry. One of the other agents in our office was offering a service to, if you're in the service industry, we'll get you paid for a license. So there was a handful of people that applied, and I was one of them. And she called me on the day before Thanksgiving, said, you got it. Let's go get your license. And it's a 40-hour class, and I got it done as soon as possible.
Nice.
And I got my license done, and I was in and out, and I think I officially got my license January, and since then, been going ever since.
Cool.
So that's January 2021.
Okay, so very new.
Very new.
All right. And then a little bit about you. I know a little bit about your background, not background, but real estate background. So you started on a team, correct?
I did. Started on a team, was on a team for about 8-9 months, and then I went solo, and I was solo for about 4 or 5 months, and then I started my own team. And now we have 3 agents looking to add another one in the next week or so, and we have a director of operations, and that's it.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
So now what kind of motivated you to get away from the team and kind of go on your, tell me a little bit about the steps. You decided you didn't want to be on a team any longer. Then you decided you wanted to be solo, and then obviously something shifted where you decided you wanted to actually have a team. Can you walk me through those steps a little bit?
Well, my whole life, I've never been a team person, unfortunately. I'd love to, but it's just the way I was raised. A single parent, only child, had to take care of family always. So I'm always that leadership role. And I love the team I was on. One of the best teams I ever could have, and I'm grateful for the experience I had there. It just wasn't the right fit, right? She was perfect, just not the right fit.
Right.
And for me, I went solo, and everything was going even better, that people outside of the industry was going, you're doing really well. I would love to get into this industry. Okay, well, go get your license and let's talk. Somebody did. And they go, well, I'm only going to do it if I'm on your team.
Right.
I'm not ready for a team. I'm only a year into this industry. I'm not ready for a team.
Yeah.
And they said, well, then I'm not going to do it. All right, I'll take on an agent. It's a friend of mine's wife. Okay. And then another person said, well, you're doing really well. Can I be on your team? Okay, we'll have another one. And then another one. And we just had another one sign up. So, I mean, it took a lot, but and honestly, without my director of operations, which is my wife,
right,
none of this is possible.
Yeah.
I am a fish without water without her, because she does a lot of back end stuff that I could not handle.
Yes. That's what I was going to ask. That's got to be the hard part. You're trying to sell yourself. You're trying to, make a living, and now you have a team to contend with.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing there's got to be a ton of back end that goes with having a team, as far as getting them set up on your system, having a system. That's got to be a ton of back end work.
Yeah. I mean, Dominic, who's the owner operating partner of Keller Williams Living, he says it great is that the systems is the foundation.
Right.
When you're building a house, it's foundation. Well, when I started, there was no foundation, but there was a roof. So we had to fix that real quick.
Right.
And my wife went through training. One of the other another team offered training, and I put her through that, and it was the best thing we ever did. We got systems in place. Operations are great. Things are built out, so as soon as the deal comes in, she can handle it.
Right.
But it took some time, and it wasn't an easy, quick thing as most people think.
Right. Yeah, I would imagine there's quite a bit to it. That's really cool. So she trained with another team.
Yep.
To basically learn how to be director of operations.
Yeah. So Roots Group had a training system there, Rise Training.
Yeah.
And Roots is one of the best teams in our office.
Right.
And why not learn from the best?
Yeah.
So we put her through training. She learned just so much that it was just mind blowing. Within 8 weeks, that I'm like, we have something here, and we're thankful for all that.
Right.
I mean, without that, there's no Above and Beyond Realty. There's probably just a solo Jake, and he's probably low on the tier.
Right.
It's not anywhere near what I am right now.
Yeah. That's really cool. So now, what was she doing before that? Was she a stay-at-home, or was she working?
She had the hardest job in the world, and that was a stay-at-home mother to a very cranky husband. So, but luckily enough, I mean, for the past 13 years, I've owned my own entertainment company. So we do trivia in bars and restaurants.
Right.
So the past 3 years, so I had COVID really bad, and I was in the ICU. I wasn't supposed to make it. When that all happened, I needed somebody to run the business, and she obviously stepped up. And I had a buddy of mine who said, "I'll help her do whatever I can."
Yeah.
So she learned a lot of the back end stuff for that business. Since I got out of the ICU, she took over that whole thing.
Nice.
She runs our entertainment company, and I write questions. She does all the back end stuff, and that was it. It was perfect. Well, it was a good transition for her to do back end stuff for us now.
Right.
But now we have a 4 and a 2-year-old, so it gets a little bit difficult, but
yeah,
she handles it very well.
That's awesome. Now, do you find it causes a lot of stress at home with you guys working together now on both projects?
Oh, stress is a huge word in our house. Well, you know a lot of our situation in our house. Our house found black mold, so half of our house was contaminated and being torn apart. So between that, running 2 businesses and 2 little ones, stress is probably our family motto right now.
Yeah.
I hear it's a lot.
So now who was the agent on your house?
So when we bought our house, my aunt was our agent.
Okay.
Right? We sold our house in South Lyon, bought our house in Heartland. My aunt was our agent. She did everything she could.
Yeah.
Our inspector was fantastic. The area that we had our issues,
right,
you could not find it.
Right.
There was no hatch in the we had a great room, and there's no hatch in there, and it was just whoever put the roof on, put it on improperly and poorly. So water was seeping underneath the flashing and coming in, and no one knew.
No indications of anything going wrong.
What ended up happening was I built a pallet wall, and one of our agents wanted to take headshots. She's like, "I love your pallet wall." All right, so let's do it.
Right.
So we put her up there, and my wife called me. She goes, "Hey, we have sawdust on the floor." I'm like, "We must have a mouse, right, eating at this pallet wall."
Right.
I'm like, "All right, I'll deal with that." No, it was mold. We didn't know it.
Really?
So we called in a remediation company. They said, "Yep, there's mold. We're gonna tear out the carpet, replace it." Awesome. Actually, it looks like it's a little bit up the wall.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll tell a little bit of the wall. Oh, there's more. Or there's more.
Right.
To where they gutted it down to the studs, and there was a good 1.5 to 2 inch thick black mold on the roof of my house. Now, the other indication that we had was my son kept getting sick.
Okay.
He would get croup, right? We couldn't figure out why. He had it 8 times over like 4 months.
Oh, wow.
He was in the hospital. Couldn't figure it out. It's probably mold toxicity that nobody knew about. So now we've had it remediated since March.
Yeah.
Not sick once.
Really?
Not sick once. And it's crazy to think just how much is in your house.
Right.
And that, you don't want anybody to ever go through it.
Right.
I, as an agent, will, as soon as I walk in the house and I can smell cat urine.
Yeah.
And they don't have a cat, there's mold in this house.
Right.
That's one of the indications, which I never knew about.
Yeah.
I always thought, oh, somebody must have had a cat before here.
Right.
Nope.
Yeah.
That's a huge indication for black mold.
So do you think it's been a little bit of a learning experience also, being an agent, now seeing like some things you can do all the proper things. You can have a home inspection, you can check the attic, you can do all these things, and you just still never know. I mean, it's still a risk.
Absolutely. I mean, we've had our house 18 months now. We'll be a year in September.
Yeah.
2 years in September. I've got to remember my dates. In that time, we had to put a well in because it was illegally connected. We knew that. Right. We saw that inspection done. They had the basement foundation fixed. 6 months after living there, basement flooded. My wife lost all of her grandma's stuff, all of her baby stuff. I lost furniture. I lost dartboards. I lost stuff like that, but nothing too important to me and like my wife.
Nothing irreplaceable.
Right.
Right.
So we lost stuff there. Then in December, my son starts getting sick. Can't figure it out. Come springtime, we find all the mold.
Right.
We had to put new windows in. We had to put new roof in because they all were put in improperly. It just all kept adding to things.
Jeez.
We had a full inspection. Our inspection was clean.
Right.
And it's nothing our agent or inspector could have caught.
Right.
But it's a learning curve to now I nitpick everything.
Right.
I'll have clients who say, I want to waive the inspection. I have such an immoral or moral compass to say, you can't.
Right.
Because of everything I go through.
Yeah.
And I've talked to other agents about this. I said, what do you do? And they say, offer it, suggest it.
Right.
And if they don't want it, then just get it documented saying, I've said everything I can.
Right. Yeah. It's tough in this market with people wanting to have the strongest offer and fast and make it easy. But I mean, you never know. You never know what you're walking into.
No, not at all. And we'll have a client who there was a little bow on a wall. We walked immediately.
Yeah.
She's like, I called the agent. It's been like that for 40 years. Not not for my clients. It can't be.
Right.
And they're like, absolutely. They want to adopt. That's a huge red flag for adoption.
Yeah.
There's no way that can happen.
Right. Yeah, that's scary. So now, have you heard anything about this? I remember watching a training video and they had talked a little bit about a guy who, I think he was in like San Francisco market or something, but he came up with this new strategy. He was basically, this was a year ago when they were talking about, it's really tough to be a buyer's agent because of the market and the way everything was moving so fast. But this guy made basically his bread and butter off being a buyer's agent. But he actually went out and he found like 4 home inspection teams that were willing to work with him. They gave him a discounted rate. And what they would do is they would actually schedule kind of a really brief 30-minute inspection while they were actually looking at the house. So whether or not they even knew they wanted to buy it yet, they would have a home inspector with them when they would actually walk the house. And he would just check really big ticket items, look for things like that. Attic, look in the attic, look at the AC, look at the appliances, things of that nature. And it worked really well for him. I mean, he crushed it as a buyer's agent, and he said it gave him that peace of mind of knowing that they had some sort of an inspection.
Yeah, that's brilliant. I mean, when you have that scheduled time, you have that 30 minutes, it's your due diligence time.
Right.
Just a lot of people will walk through, look at the furniture and look at the walls and go, it's great.
Yeah.
Why are we not looking at bigger picture things? First thing I do is I go downstairs, look at the furnace. What's the date on it? What's the date on everything? Water heater, furnace, look at the air conditioner. And those things you kind of have an idea of. Luckily, because of everything that's happened to me, I have an idea what prices are right now, and they're not cheap.
Right.
So we can go through and say, it's about this, it's about that.
Yeah.
Am I certified to say it's going to cost you exactly $1,000? No. But I can say it's between $800 and $1,500.
Right.
And that's huge. But I told an agent in our office a year ago when I was on a team, I said, in a year from now, everyone should be buyer's agents.
Yeah.
Everyone was pushing away from them. And that's a great, I coach football as well, and we talk about tools in our toolbox. Right. Have this in just in case you need it. Having an inspector that will go to you on showings is huge.
Right.
And that's something I'm going to make some phone calls today about.
That's awesome. As far as going from a team to solo to then your own team, is there things that you do differently with your team now? Obviously, the team didn't work out for you. Are there things that you do differently with your team that you think are going to be different than the team you were on? Obviously, you want some things to be the same because some things work, but have you found things that you want to do differently and kind of keep your team happy and moving forward?
The biggest thing is, and there was nothing wrong with the team I was on, it was just the wrong fit.
Yeah.
I will take a lot of things that they do and add it to my team. The only thing different that we're doing is it's just people that I know.
Right.
That's all that's different. And if I didn't have had these people that knew me, I doubt I have a team right now.
Right.
I would be a solo agent with an admin, and that's probably about it.
Yeah.
Our splits are a little bit less on the team side. Our agent makes a little bit more on the splits.
Yeah.
And that's because I have another business that pays my bills, right?
Right.
In real estate, I do it because I want to help.
Yeah.
I've reduced commission for clients because it didn't appraise right, and we just need a little bit more money for them, for the sellers. I'll reduce my commission. I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah.
It's not about the money for me. I want people to not go the experiences that I went through. And it wasn't a bad experience that I went through. It's just now, I wish things wouldn't have happened the way it did, but nothing was wrong with it.
Right.
So as far as our team goes, we're very similar to every other team in the office.
Yeah.
Our splits are just a little bit more agent friendly than other teams. And that's fine.
Yeah.
It pays, our team pays for marketing and advertisements, things that our agents actually need.
Yeah.
But for us, it's, I don't need to make a penny off of a team.
Right. Do you think that that's going to help you in the long run? Or is that something you plan to continue as far as like the way you grow your team? Do you plan on growing it completely organically? Like people do you ever see yourself getting to a point where you will start hiring people outside of your sphere?
Yeah. I mean, right now we actually hired one agent who's not sphere. Sat down with her. She was looking for a team, and I just told her our spiel, and she's like, I really like it here.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, then we'd love to have you. How big of a team do I think I'm going to have? That's a great question. And I don't know if I'm ready to have that conversation yet, because it's scary when you think about it.
Right.
I mean, you are in charge of X amount of agents, and those agents basically rely on you to put food on the table for their families.
Right.
And, one of the guys on my team has been best friends with me for 25 years.
Yeah.
So I was telling him, I have a special interest in you because you were the best man at my wedding.
Right.
We go on vacations together. I'm going to make sure you have food on the table for your family.
Yeah.
But to have to say that to 4 agents right now, it's a little scary.
Right.
Could I imagine having 15, 20 agents? I don't know.
Right.
And what is that? And what does my future look like? What does my vision look like too? That's a whole nother can of worms.
What does your wife's day look like with 25 agents?
She wakes up yelling at me.
Right.
She goes to bed yelling at me.
Right.
And that's the other thing is, at what point in time do I say we have to hire somebody who's not my wife, not because she does a great job, but
Right.
it's going to be too much.
Yeah.
Because when I got married to my wife, she was working and I was working, right? We met at the same job. And I told her, I said, we want our kids to be at home as much as possible. We don't want to put them in daycare. We don't want to
Right.
do anything with that because we saw it firsthand. And we just want our kids to grow up happy.
Yeah.
So I told her, you'll be a stay-at-home mom. And I feel like we've veered from that because of both of our businesses.
Right.
And it's at what point do we go back to our roles? Because soon our kids are going to be in school.
Right.
So she can have that availability. So we got to figure out, is it now? Is it later or what?
Yeah. No, it's tough. I mean, the fact that you're scared, I would say is a good thing. I mean, it speaks to you as a person, which is obviously who you want running your team if you're on a team. The idea that you're scared means that you actually understand the fact that you are responsible for these people's livelihoods. Which is tough because a lot of times they don't. People look at people just as numbers. Like, I'm going to get as many people as I can on my team. If I get a small fraction from each one, I'm making, this much money. But they don't take any responsibility for the fact that somebody is working for you and it's your job to then provide this life for all these people.
Yeah. I mean, Dominic says it great that most agents, they have what they call commission breath. All they see is numbers
Right.
and money. There has to be at some point in time love and affection in this game, right? If I'm bringing somebody on, it's not because I see dollars in them. I want them to succeed in life.
Right.
I'm a very give back person, even though I don't have money to give back like that.
Right.
I'd love to be able to give millions of dollars away if I could.
Yeah.
I'm not that kind of person. I've always donated my time. At my school, in my grade school, I was donated time.
Right.
My church, I gave back time. And that's the kind of person I am. That's why I've coached for so many years, because I want to give back to the communities.
Yeah.
But at some point in time, all agents need to look at things other than numbers.
Right.
Not can I buy a new boat this year? Can I buy my 14th investment property? At what point in time can we give back to others?
Yeah. No, I agree. And that brings me to my next question. I usually talk to people about like what they think as far as, some agents make a ton of money, obviously. I mean, that's why there's a lot of people in real estate, because it can be really good, but it's also a brutal business. Do you find yourself hesitating to make big purchases? Do you understand the value of, like, you have to put money away because it's a roller coaster? I mean, there's ups and downs.
Well, and also in our field is we're 1099. So we got to save money for taxes.
Right.
So when you look at your bank account going, wow, I have this much money. Well, a third of that's going to Uncle Sam.
Right.
But for us, I'm a very cheap person now because I have money. When I didn't have money, I was like, let's go to the bar and spend $100 tonight.
Yeah.
Oh, that's all I have? Well, we'll figure it out.
Right.
Now I'm like, I have some money. I'm not spending anything.
Right.
But the big purchases I've made recently have been a new roof and new windows. So those were big ticket items that scared the living daylights out of me.
Right. And hopefully an investment, because you'll hopefully get the money back out if you need
That's
to.
what you hope for.
Yeah.
But when you see money in your account, you're like, what were hundreds right before? Like, I have $100. Now it's like 1,000. Like, okay, but that 1,000 to me looks like 100.
Yeah.
It's like I don't have much money.
Right.
And it's not a bad thing, because I have to look out for my family as well.
Yeah.
Even though I want to help out every agent possible, I still have to look out for my core people.
Yeah.
And those will always come first.
And you start to guard it more when you have more. Like
100%.
you said, $100. Okay, I have $100 in my account. I spend $100. I'm at zero. Well, I know I'll get back to 100. It's not a big deal. When you get that pad, then you start to realize, like, okay, it took a long time to get here.
Yeah.
I don't want $50 coming out of it. I don't want $100 coming out of it.
No. If you have $100,000 in your bank and going, oh, I could go buy a new truck.
Right.
Oh, it doesn't take a day to get that money back. In real estate, it's a grind.
Right.
I mean, what we do today, we don't see for at least 3 months' pay.
Yeah.
If I show a client a house tonight, I'm not getting paid till October,
Right.
November maybe. I mean, luckily we have good partners, right? Our mortgage side people, they are fantastic getting us through. Our title side company, they help us out very much and get things done fast, but it's a grind.
Yeah.
And I've noticed it right now because summer's here. I want to enjoy the weather.
Right.
Did I make all those phone calls I needed to? No. Did I go on listing appointments as much as I should? Absolutely not. What am I looking at today? I have a closing and then oh, I got to get back on the grind.
Right.
Summer was fun, but now it's time to get back to work.
Yeah. Got to fill the pipeline.
Absolutely.
Yeah. No, I noticed that a lot with realtors and mortgage people. I've had experiences in mortgages. I had a lot of buddies in Arizona that did mortgages. A lot of them spent money as fast as they made it. Then when 08 hit, a lot of them lost everything. But I notice a lot with, restaurant bar owners too. I have a buddy that owns a bunch of bars in Chicago. He's the cheapest person I know, but he's smart.
Yeah.
He goes, I understand now how hard it was to make that money. I can't part with it very easily.
No, because what if another COVID happens and bars are shut down for 6 months again?
Right.
Then what do you have?
Yeah.
I mean, our industry is not, I show up, I'm getting paid. Like I said, we grind, and it takes a lot of effort. You can meet, I probably have met 15, 20 people that I've showed houses to that don't use me as their agent anymore, and it wasn't because we weren't the right fit. It's because they just wanted somebody to open the door, and I didn't do my due diligence and actually sitting down getting with them.
Right.
And that's a young agent.
Yeah.
Now, I'm talking to somebody right now who wants to see a house. Well, let's meet down for a cup of coffee and let's talk about your needs. Well, I just want to see the house.
Right.
Well, I need to sit down with you first so I make sure it's the right fit.
Yeah.
Because not only are you dating your house, but you're dating your agent.
Yeah.
You're dating your clients.
Right.
At some point in time, does it say you're not the right fit for me?
Yeah.
And that's the hardest part, because a lot of agents see money. Well, if I let that person go, I'm going to lose out on X amount of money. Yeah, well, you're losing on X amount of money, but how much patience are you going to lose as well?
Right. And, it's like building a business. That's what I was talking to Garrett about last week, was that it's better when you deal with like-minded people, because these are the people that are going to come back to you. This is going to be your referral business. This is going to be your base of business. It's better to know up front and work with the right person, and that way you can plan on them coming back to you. Like I was saying, some of the older agents in our office that have obviously a ton of referral business. There's some really successful ones that come to mind, but I've noticed that they're the best people to work with as far as the agents, very professional, very nice, very sincere in everything they do. And their clients are the exact same way. Like I get them at a closing, I can see the agent, I know their client's going to be similar to them. And they 9 times out of 10 are.
Yeah.
So do you think that's important in your business as far as like not just taking the money, but growing the right referral business?
100%. I mean, number one, if I go to our office and another agent has a deal, I'm so happy for them. Our office is very unique versus other offices.
Right.
It's one big family. I mean, our Facebook group, an agent got added yesterday. There was like 15 comments going, welcome to the family.
Right.
Right. So that's one thing. And when you see another agent thriving, how do I get to be that way?
Yeah.
And I'll give one of my secrets away. You ready for this one?
Sure.
This is how I get referrals. As soon as I close the house on them, for the next year, right? I watched a TikTok and it was like, why give somebody a gift card for $100 at a closing?
Right.
Instead, why not give them a care package? And that care package is some snack food. So once a month, they get a box. And you put a letter in there, put some business cards. I put some koozies in there.
Right.
It's just, hey, thanks for being a client. Without you guys, that'd be nothing, which is true.
Yeah.
And I gave them, I think it was like 20 little Snicker bars or something like that. And the amount of people that text me going, no other agent would have done this.
Yeah.
Like, this is phenomenal.
Yeah. And it's not costing you a ton of money.
It was like $19 per person I had.
Right.
If I had that up over 20 months or 12 months, it's going to be cheaper almost than anything else I would have done.
And you can continue to do it, which that's the biggest thing they say is like the lag where, all of a sudden they forget about somebody. They may reach out to them in 6 months and then reach out to them 6 months later. Yeah. And then they're like, oh, I forgot about you, but I just bought a house 3 months ago.
Yeah.
If you're not in constant touch.
Well, and I got a text message while I was on vacation at the 4th of July. He's going, hey, that was really thoughtful. Thank you so much. And that's why we've referred you to our entire family and friends.
Yeah, that's huge.
They go, no other agent would have done this for us.
Yeah.
I sent you some chips.
Right.
But at the same time, I actually mean it when I send it.
Yeah.
I'm not just sending it to be like, give me your clients.
Right.
I genuinely care about these people. I've made so many more friendships from anything.
Yeah.
That I've got buddies I play online video games with now. I've gone baseball games with some clients just because, hey, what are you doing? Nothing. Hey, you want to go out? Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I'm not looking for anything.
And you never know where that may steer you. I mean, like in life, as you get older, you realize like all these people that and friendships you have, and it may not seem like anything up front, but then you'll kind of refer back to them like, oh, I know a person that does this, or I know this guy that does this, or you may even come together on a business idea. So it's like all these doors that are just opened as friendships.
Yeah.
typically will lead to somewhere else.
Yeah. Well, so like I said, we do trivia in bars and restaurants, and we're always hiring new hosts.
Yeah.
We just it's a grind business because we're in the bars at nights, and most people don't want to work nights anymore.
Right.
We pay very, very well. We pay more than we probably should.
Yeah.
Because I just care about people. And when I close on a deal with somebody, they go, actually, my brother's looking for a job. Okay. Well, have him call me.
Yeah.
And they do. And he's one of our hosts. And he's one of our best hosts we have.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And it's because we generally care about our clients.
Do you find that the two go hand in hand very well, the trivia business and this? Obviously, for referrals, it probably works great because you're meeting people all the time.
Yeah.
But even as you're saying that, I think about from an employee standpoint, if somebody's doing trivia and they do that as their main source of income, their days are wide open. Are you finding yourself getting people then that are like, hey, what else do you do? I do real estate. And then they want to get involved in that.
One of our hosts is an agent on my team.
Okay.
And she's like, I don't want to host anymore at night. I go, why? I said, this is free leads for you.
Yeah.
My first 2 deals were $950,000 houses because I was sitting at a bar talking to somebody.
Yeah.
So at our team meetings, they go, who has a new deal? Who's looking for something? And I said, I have a new listing. And they always ask, where'd you get it from? And I was a joke, sitting at a bar drinking.
Yeah.
And they were just, of course you did. And I wasn't sitting there pestering the person. They were talking about, man, the market's crazy. What do you think? Well, let me tell you about the market. And we'll talk to them about it.
Right.
Well, what do you think my house is worth? Well, I can run a market analysis for you and I'll email it to you.
Yeah.
Hey, your house is worth $950,000. When could we list it? When works for you? Okay. Sit down, talk to them, give them the listing presentation, list their house, sell it. They're like, I made $400,000 on this house. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, hey, I want to buy a new lake house. Let's buy you a lake house.
Right.
Hey, my daughter's looking for something. And I tell everybody all the time, if you're in the bar business, you should have a real estate license.
Yeah.
You meet so many people on a day-to-day basis.
Oh, yeah.
You have to talk. So my agent has gotten 3 clients from just sitting at the bar hosting trivia.
Yeah.
Now, luckily, I know the owner of the trivia business, so my real estate business is a sponsor of that.
Right.
So they see our team logo, they see our contact information, and we might leave it up a little longer than we should, but it still says so. I mean, on average, on a Thursday night, I'm at the South Line Hotel. I get about 17 teams, and there's about 4 to 5 people per team.
Right.
All I do is put my logo up there for a minute while I do my thank yous. Hey, thanks for coming out tonight. Hope you guys enjoyed yourself. If you're looking for any of the sponsors, please reach out. Someone takes a picture and calls me. That's a free lead. And
it's fun. I mean, you're getting these people in an environment that's fun to them, so they're not, they don't have their guard up. You're not cold calling them. You're not knocking on their door.
No, I absolutely hate cold calling. I'm not the person that wants to call and get hung up on. But if I have a warm lead, that's great.
Yeah.
And if I don't even have to do anything really, which sounds really bad, but someone comes up to me and says, you're in real estate, I'd love to talk.
Yeah.
That's great. So why not get an industry? If any other realtor would call me and said, hey, I'd like to sponsor at your company, come on in.
Yeah.
I'm not about me.
Right.
Let's help everybody else out.
Yeah.
So if someone said, hey, I want to sponsor your pages, or I want to give you pens to give out to your clients or your customers for trivia, come on in.
That's actually a really good idea. I just had an idea as you're saying that. I need to get you some pens for trivia.
Come on over. Hey, we've got Above and Beyond Realty, and we have to order another shipment of pens in probably about a month or so. So if you want to bring in some.
Yeah. Talk to me about that after. We'll get you some pens.
Deal.
See, you never know. Conversations always lead to something.
Absolutely. In this market, somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody.
Yeah.
And that's how it all starts.
No, it's really cool. I was talking to somebody the other day and I said, the crazy thing about real estate is it's a really tough business. But the other thing is, if you take 100 people in a parking lot and ask them, if there are 100 people that don't own homes, how many of them want to own a home at some point?
It's going to be 100%.
Almost all of them are going to raise their hand. I mean, who doesn't want to own a home? That's pretty much everybody's goal at some point in their life.
Yeah, unless you're downsizing.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, I don't want it. Or you travel. That's about it.
Right.
I need somebody to take care of it for me, so I just rent.
Yeah.
But 98% of those people are going to say yeah.
Right. And then there's people that want to own multiple homes. So it's across the board.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like I was talking to a guy that did carpet cleaning, and he's like, the great thing about it is show me a house that doesn't have carpet in it. Not many.
No. And not only that, but he might also wash windows or does something else.
Right.
Or he knows somebody.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest thing with us is we have a list of vendors that we have preferred vendors.
Yeah.
And on there, it usually doesn't change from who we have. But if someone knows somebody and says, hey, this person was absolutely fantastic, we want them on that list.
Right.
And I'm not going to say, here's the only person I want you to use.
Yeah.
I give them 4 or 5 and say, call around.
Right. And that way you're not steering them to one, and then if something goes bad, it's on you.
Absolutely.
You're just kind of pointing them in the right direction.
Absolutely. But at the same time, we only want the best people out there. If I know somebody's not the best, I don't want to work with them because it tarnishes our reputation. But at the same time, it's not the experience I want my clients to go through.
Yeah, which is huge, especially nowadays with everything booming the way it was. I feel like a lot of like contractors and people that, do remodels and things like that, even builders, a lot of them don't show up to anything because they can bid super high. People are going to jump on it, and then they're just kind of going to the next one, and they'll offer them an even higher price. They'll take it, and then they just leave the other person in the wind. Yeah. Which is a really bad business practice, especially considering things will cool off at some point.
They're starting to.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's why be in this business? Well, a lot of people are because it's money hungry. Right. That's it. And at what point in time, like I said, do we get back to caring about people?
Right. Which if you do, genuinely, if you care about people in the industry you're in, you're going to do well.
Yeah.
Because it shows through. You know what I mean? People, it might not find out right away if you're a fraud, but eventually they'll find out that you're just money hungry and that's all you cared about was getting the deal done.
Well, I don't know the exact stats, but new agents don't last more. Well, there's a 3-year window. Right. And after the first year, it's like 70% people leave the industry.
Yeah.
And it's not because they don't care. It's because either they're not trying or they're money hungry to begin with.
Right.
The ones that stick around, those are the ones that you want to deal with.
Yeah.
Or they know how to grind, and that's fine too.
Right.
But eventually, all colors show.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember the saying. It was, it's actually a Dan Gilbert quote, but it was like something to the effect of, if you're chasing the money, it will never come. You know what I mean? If you're chasing basically the career and you're chasing the goals, the money's always going to come.
Oh, for sure.
It's going to follow. But just don't chase the money directly because you'll run in a circle and you'll never get it.
Yeah. If that's the thing, though, you get that high, like, oh, I made a quick $1,000. I got to go find that high again.
Right.
That's probably not the right thing for you.
Yeah.
And you're not going to succeed very well. And I don't want that to anybody. I want everybody to succeed in this industry because it's a great industry. I got in this industry on a nice whim, but I've always had that passion about houses. When I was a young kid, I wanted to be an architect.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not smart enough to be an architect. That's a lot of schooling, and I could barely go through school as it was. But how can I get into that industry? Well, I can be in housing.
Yeah.
And I can help people get those dreams. My favorite is working with first-time home buyers. They might not have everything to throw at a house, right, but they want it. And when they get that house, the passion in their eyes that this is our home. This is what we can build on, is just seeing my family go from, when my wife and I first met, we took over the trailer that my mother-in-law was living in.
Yeah.
And she was living in there, and we took over the rent. That's all we could afford. Going from a trailer to a nice size house in South Lyon to an even bigger house that was double the size in Heartland. Yeah. Just mind-blowing. And I want everybody to experience that.
Do you ever find yourself, I do this once in a while, you kind of have to stay, like you get complacent. Yeah. Do you ever find yourself where you're in your house and you're looking around and you just go like, holy shit, how did I get here?
Oh, yeah.
How did I get here? And now this seems normal to me, but like this is a huge thing. And like I did this.
Yeah. I mean, I've sat down at our trivia finals, right? We do 4 times a year, we do trivia finals. And I sat there and we had 30 teams the last time we were Block Brewing in Brighton. Yeah. And I looked over at our general manager and I go, this is so weird. He goes, why? I said, because these people are here because of me. Yeah. And then I do the same thing at home when I'm sitting in my house. Well, before my house was torn apart, right, I'd sit in our great room and I go, this is the room I've always wanted my entire life. I dreamt of this. Yeah. I lived in Redford. Our house was only 1,100 square foot, right, single parent, lived next door to my grandparents. Nothing special. Yeah. I had a basement that we put carpeting in and had a pool table and a TV. Like, that was it. Right. We were awesome. Yeah. And now I have a great room that's double the size of my old house. Yeah. And I'm like, this is cool. Yeah. I sit here with my kids play. I don't think my kids experience or understand yet. No. And they won't. With them. Yeah. But when they do, they're going to be like, wow, our parents actually gave us a life that is worth living, right? Right. That's one of Keller Williams' biggest things, life worth living. Yeah. And that's all I want for people. I want everybody in this industry to live a life worth living. And what that is different. Right. For you, it could be a $15 million mansion. For me, it could be a $100,000 shack in the woods. Right. But whatever that dream is, let's get it for you. Yeah. And if I could do that for my family, that's awesome. No, I agree. And that's what I was saying last week. It's success is different for everybody. Yeah. You know what I mean? Obviously, everybody wants to have success, but success isn't necessarily a $15 million house and a yacht.
for some people, success is just having a house that's paid for,
Food on the table.
money in the bank,
Yeah.
and, with money comes options, and just having the options to do what they want when they want to do it.
Yeah. And everybody's goals are different, and nobody's wrong on that.
Right.
What you could say, I could be like, I don't know why he wants that, but that's what he wants.
Yeah.
And that's the great thing about our industry is we meet new people every single day.
Yeah.
And different career paths every single day. And that's why I think I'm good at this, because my ADD kicks in and I'm like,
Right.
squirrel. But with new people, I'm like, oh, I talked to Bob today. I talked to Shirley today. They want this. They want that. And for me, it's perfect.
Yeah.
But it's cool to see the lives that people live and what they want. Like I'll walk into a house and it won't be the house for me. And my clients are like, this is the one.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm so happy for you.
Right.
Would I want to live there? No, thank you.
Right.
But am I picky? Yeah, because it's what I want.
Yeah. And you're in and out of houses all day.
Oh, that's the biggest problem though.
Yeah.
Because I look at my house, I go, I just showed $1 million house. My house is nowhere near that.
Right.
And it's like, why don't I have that? So you want a little bit more.
Yeah.
And you fight for a little bit more. But really, I'm happy with what I have.
Right.
Well, once it's done,
Yeah.
I'll be happy.
No, I would say that too. I find there's a fine line between confidence and insecurity.
Oh, yeah.
And to me, I don't always look at insecurity as a bad thing. I look at it as sometimes it's a motivating factor. Whereas like, especially in finances, you know what I mean? Like you get confident and then you're, okay, I made it. This is what I want. This is what I needed. Whereas I feel like insecurity is what keeps people pushing. You know what I mean? It keeps people going. Like insecurity in yourself keeps you going to the gym. Insecurity in, finances keeps you pushing to go forward further. So I find that sometimes it's not necessarily a bad thing like they make it. Sometimes it's a fueling factor, which as long as you can mentally harness the two and you understand like, okay, I am confident. I'm not necessarily insecure, but that kind of drives people forward, in my opinion.
I have that going on right now, right? Like I said, I took the summer off a little bit. And then there are agents in my office who are like, oh, I have 13 deals pending. You have 13 deals pending? I have one.
Yeah, what am I doing?
And then I get mad at myself and I'm like, I shouldn't have done this. Maybe I shouldn't have spent 10 days on a vacation. I should have only went for 5. I should have. But then I'm like, but I want it now.
Yeah, you're fueled.
I'm ready, and at the same time, I'm happy for them.
Yeah.
And then I also think back, okay, it's been 18 months you're in this industry. They've been in for 7 years.
Yeah.
It's gonna come.
Right.
And in Keller Williams is a very open book class, right? I can go in and see what everybody makes if I wanted to.
Yeah.
And every now and then I'll look, and I'm happy where I'm at in my ranking.
Right.
When last time I looked, I was the number 20th agent out of 200 agents.
Yeah.
I've only been doing this 18 months.
Right.
And I'm top 20.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that. No, and it's only June at the rankings it's July now, but
yeah,
it's June. So I'm pretty happy.
And the good thing is, like you said, those people that are doing that have been doing it for 7-8 years.
Yeah.
Whereas if you keep growing it and you keep doing it the way you're doing it and then building friendships and being sincere, you'll get to the point probably where you'll have 13 deals in a month, and it may even come in a month where you're on a 2-week vacation.
Absolutely. I mean, like I said, I want everybody to succeed in this industry. I will root for the worst person, but the one thing that you always notice is the people that leave.
Yeah.
And you just got to stay with it. At some point in time, you've got to just say, I need a little bit more. Put yourself in a situation where, what if I don't have money coming in?
Right.
What do we do?
Yeah.
But we're getting to that point where I'm starting to see our life shift, and it blows my mind.
Yeah.
And I know it's coming. Something else is coming.
Right. It's a cool place to be.
It's a weird place to be, though. It's a humbling place to be because you're sitting there going, when I first got in the industry, right, I had a 2005 Ford Taurus.
Yeah.
My whole hood was smashed in. I was an electrician before that, so I hit a deer on the way to work. Right? At work, they always called it the deer smasher. Oh, Jake and the deer smasher here. I would show houses in a deer smasher. And I'd still got clients because I wanted it bad enough.
Right.
Now, I have an old truck, but I have a truck. It doesn't have a smash in front. So I look a little bit more presentable.
Right.
And it's just humbling to say, 2 years ago, I would have been like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
If my car breaks down, what's happening?
Right.
It's great.
It's cool too. I think there's something to be said about that. Obviously, you don't want to show up in a smashed up Taurus, but when I've bought and sold homes, I always looked at, I just always do. Whenever anybody's coming to my house for anything, whether it's to fix something, to look at estimating something, or to sell it, I always look at what they drive.
Oh yeah.
And to me, it's always been, if somebody shows up to list my house in a Ferrari, I'm probably not going to list with them because that's just part of probably an insecurity. I don't want them to make any more money. Like
Right.
you've made enough money if you're driving that car.
Yeah. I mean, I see agents all the time that they have a whole neighborhood knocked down of $1 million houses.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, you've sold $40 million houses this year. I think you're done.
Yeah.
Save some for the rest of us. But at the same time, they're out there grinding, and they're the ones that people want to go to.
Right.
So that it motivates us.
Yeah.
But when I showed up to that first listing for $950,000 in a beat up Taurus, I was like, they're not going to sign with me.
Yeah.
There's no way possible that they even want to work with me.
But they probably thought, to me, that's what I was saying about the Ferrari. To me, I'm like, that person's complacent. To me, I see somebody show up in that car and I'm going, man, this guy's hungry. You know what I mean? He needs this deal. I know he's going to work for me.
Well, and that's just me in general, right? I'm a very laid back person. I mean, I won a deal for $1 million farm in Northville. I was the agent on. I showed up to a farm in flip-flops, shorts, and a T-shirt. The agent I beat out was in a 3-piece suit.
Right.
You also have to know your customer.
Yeah.
And I think I break the mold in a lot of real estate industry because I'm not going to show up in a suit. I'm not a suit person. I was a laborer before this. I was an electrician. I was in jeans, work boots, and a T-shirt.
Right.
This is who I am.
Yeah.
This is what you're getting. You're going to get the best agent you can get.
Right.
But this is how I am.
Yeah, I don't have to put the pizzazz on the outside. Just know what you're getting.
I mean, I've talked to agents before where they lost on a deal because somebody showed up fancier.
Yeah.
Then those people want fancy.
Right.
And I'm not the fit for you. And that's okay.
Yeah, funny you say that because I talked to Garrett about that last week, and that's what we were talking about is knowing who you are and being who you are and just being proud of that and knowing that you're going to show up and do the job. And he said the same thing. I don't want to show up in a suit and then find out the reason they hired me was because I was in a suit. And then when things go sideways and they find out I'm not that guy in the suit, and then they think that's why the deal failed or something happened.
100%.
It's like, I want to know that they want me for who I am up front.
Yeah. And I'm very honest with it. That's why a lot of my clients come from the bar industry because they see me.
Right.
They see me at the bar. They see me have a Jack and Coke next to them, and they know this is who I'm getting.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
They know who you are ahead of time.
Right. But then we'll still have that We'll have that meeting, and they're like, "You're a little different." I'm like, "I have to be a little bit more presentable in this meeting because I want you to understand the information."
Yeah.
I'm not just sitting in a bar, shooting the crap with you.
Right. Once we sell, then we'll go back in the bar.
Absolutely. And then we'll have some drinks and celebrate.
Yeah.
But until then, it's like, this is who you get. Yeah. And that's okay. And there's a lot of agents that are out there like, you have to wear a 3-piece suit. You have to do this. That's your mold. That's your okay. But at some point in time, it's not going to be the best fit.
Yeah.
So just be you. And if that's you, that's fine.
I agree. And I think that's where a lot of things are going, not just real estate, but a lot of industries are going, which is a good thing in my opinion, where they're allowing people to be a little bit more who they are. You don't have to fit this mold, which was awesome. I mean, that's the same thing when I came to Tribe. That was one of my things. I've been in sales before and other types of sales. I owned an insurance agency. I've done mortgages. I had a real estate license at one point. I didn't want to be somebody I'm not, and he was very upfront with me. Like, no, I want you to be you.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Well, I mean, you look at the shift in the mindset of people today. Like if you were an agent and you have tattoos, right?
Right.
Oh, no, I'm not working with him. He must be a thug.
Right.
No. And that's the other problem with a lot of our military personnel, right? One of our agents is from the military.
Yeah.
He's got tattoos.
Yeah.
10 years ago, that might have been like, there's something wrong with him.
Right.
No, that's who he is. He's expressing himself.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with any of this stuff.
Right.
And I think our mindset has finally opened up to everything's okay, and that's fine. It might not be your cup of tea, but it's okay for somebody else.
Yeah.
And that's fine.
And it's cool. I mean, that's when I sold cars in Arizona. It was one of my first jobs when I got out of the military and I had tattoos. And they told me, like, you have to wear a long sleeve shirt to work. I'm like, man, I'm selling cars in Phoenix.
Right.
It's 115 degrees on the pavement. I got to wear a long sleeve shirt every day. Yeah. Okay. But that's, like you said, it's like, just why can't I be myself? I probably would have sold better had I just been myself.
Oh, if I'm not comfortable, I'm not selling.
Yeah.
I mean, I joked so the old team I was on, I was very close to everybody, even when I left. And I said, hey, I need help picking a team name. And they joked, I said, why don't you be Flip Flop Realty? Because all you wear is flip flops. I mean, it's the winter and I'm wearing flip flops.
Right.
And they're like, I'm like, well, that sounds bad. If I call myself Flip Flop Realty and like, oh, my agent works for Flip Flop, he doesn't know what he's doing.
Yeah.
But I'm like, no, but that's who I am.
Right.
If you see me without a hat, it's because I'm laying in bed next to you. That's about it. I mean, I'm wearing a hat constantly.
I don't want to see without a hat then.
Exactly. Nor does my wife, but
right.
I'm always in a hat and flip flops. Just that's my identity, and I'm not hiding anything. That's what I'm comfortable in.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to show up to a $14 million house without those two things because that's not who I am.
Yeah.
And I will give you the best presentation I can do and offer what I truly can offer and who I am. And if it's not the fit, I will help you find the agent that is.
Yeah.
Even our listing presentations, the first thing that says on there is finding the agent that fits. And I will tell them, interview 4 or 5 agents.
Yeah.
If we don't fit, I'm okay. I can't wait to see what your house sells for or what you're going to buy. I'm okay with that.
Which is huge. I mean, even to be upfront like that, that probably gives them reassurance. Like this guy's not trying to tell me like, no, you need to sign with me today. It's no, I advise you to look at a few different ones and see who's the best.
Right. And I could play double side because then it's like, oh, he sounds like he's not confident. Right. You can say either way, but I'm not going to change who I am or my listing presentation for that.
Right.
Interview multiple agents. And when you decide he's the reason I went with him, okay.
Yeah.
And that's what's going to make this industry change. And there's a change coming, and I think it's going to be sooner than many people think. Is a lot of the older agents have been doing this for 50 years.
Yeah.
They're going to be gone soon because they're not changing. They're not developing themselves for their clients.
Right.
And I look forward to the day because, I got sworn in at the board.
Yeah.
And there was a huge uptick about me because I showed up in flip-flops, shorts, and a hat.
Right.
I wore a collared shirt.
Right.
But they're like, I can't believe they're giving this guy his pin today. Why? Because I'm not in a 4-piece suit.
Right.
This is what you're getting. Yeah. I'm not going to be this. I'm not going to be different around you than I am my clients.
No, it's work ethic and intention.
Absolutely.
And whatever's on the outside has nothing to do with that.
Well, there's only 2 things in this world you can control, and that's your attitude and effort.
Yeah.
And I'm going to give you the best I got. And if I show up in what I got, okay.
Right.
But our office immediately they saw that and they went fighting, and that's why Keller Williams Living is crazy amazing.
Yeah, I agree.
They went and they went yelling at people to say, "How dare you?"
Yeah.
He's wearing shorts and flip-flops. So the next time we went, we all wore jeans. Everybody in our office wore jeans to be like, this is who we are.
Right.
And we are the top selling office
Yes.
in Livingston County.
Right. Numbers don't lie.
Show me numbers where I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Because I wore flip-flops, it means I can't sell your house.
Right.
Top agents, top office in the entire Livingston County. And we all are who we are.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong.
No, I love it. I mean, you go in there and there's all walks of life.
Yeah. We look out for each other. I mean, one of the funniest and sad stories is one of the agents in our office house was on fire.
Yeah.
And I lived 6-7 houses away from him. He called me and they thought it was just something small. So I grabbed my fire extinguisher and ran to his house.
Yeah.
The funny thing is there's probably a picture of me standing with a tiny little fire extinguisher and a whole house engulfed.
Right.
We joke about it to this day, but I was there ready to put out somebody's fire.
Yeah.
And I knew him 3 months.
Yeah.
But that's our office. We fight for each other.
Right.
We care about each other. And when someone gets a deal, we're clapping for them.
Yeah.
And
I agree. That's what's really cool. I noticed there's not a lot of, well, obviously there's competitiveness. It's a competitive business.
Oh, for sure.
But it's not with the kind of level of intensity and arrogance that I've ran into in other businesses where you're in sales, and it's just like rub it in somebody's face, and it's more supportive and like, hey, you're doing great. Or be like, hey, you're doing awesome. What are you doing that you're finding success? Can you share it with me?
And they will literally sit down and say, what do you want to know?
Right.
How many times I've said, does anybody have paperwork for this? Here's what I use. And I'll get 15 people that say, use this, use this.
Yeah.
Hey, how'd you guys do your marketing this month? Oh, I did this. Oh, this person did that. Great. Thank you.
Yeah.
And like I said, it's that competition in us where I get humble sometimes because I'm like, 14 deals this month. What do I need to do?
Yeah.
But then I ask them, what'd you do? Oh, come here, sit down. I'll show you what I did.
Right.
Thank you.
Which is amazing because a lot of times people try to keep it a secret, but it's like, let's say there's 200 agents in that office.
Yeah.
Out of the grand number of agents in all other offices combined, that's still a relatively small number.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if those 200 help one another to achieve their goals, A, it just makes everybody stronger, and B, it just makes the office an absolute powerhouse, which it is.
I mean, look at the numbers.
Yeah.
Number 1 in Livingston County for a reason.
Right.
I think in both volume and financially.
Yes. And it was, I think there was a number 1 somewhere else too now, wasn't it?
We're taking over the industry, and it's not because we're kicking down doors. It's because people know and like and trust us.
Right.
Agents are leaving other industries to come to our office.
Yeah.
And I told this to Aaron. Our cap is a little higher than other places, and they're working on fixing that because they know things need to shift. And I said, the difference that I'm paying you guys in my cap Even if I paid less elsewhere, I'm not getting it.
Right.
Even if you guys doubled my cap, it wouldn't matter to me. I'm never leaving unless you force me out, because what I get here, you'll never find in any other office.
Right.
And you might not get it in any other Keller office. I've talked to other agents, and they're like, oh, you guys do that? Yeah, we do that. And I'm sure a lot of it's the same.
Yeah.
But the family feel, I mean, if I brought my kid in to work with me, I have to do something, somebody in the office is watching my kid.
Yeah.
And they're hanging out with that kid while I'm doing my listing presentation.
Yeah, and it's not unusual to see kids in there.
No. I mean, when COVID happened, they had what? They had a dedicated room that parents could bring their kids in to learn, to do their schoolwork while their parents are working.
Right.
They made dedicated rooms for that.
Yeah.
I don't know any other office that would do that.
No. And like you said, it's Keller Williams thing, which is huge. So I know you're going to get that at a lot of places, but it's kind of the intentionality too behind it, where that's what I feel like is very different in this office. Is it's all taught the same, but the level of intensity and the level of I guess honesty and compassion that they bring is huge.
Oh, yeah.
And that's what I've noticed. I've had a couple meetings with mortgage people outside of work that I was trying to work with, and then I told them about Keller Williams, and I was like, hey, you ever thought about getting your license? And now 2 of them are actually starting there. And they don't even live that close to there.
Oh, yeah.
But they went there, and they even told them there, hey, there's another one closer to where you live. And they were both like, no, we want to be here.
Yeah.
So that speaks volumes.
I had a gentleman he was looking to buy a house and sell his, and he's like, I want to get my license. Well, number one, Keller Williams offers free classes.
Yeah.
So it would just cost you to pay for your test. So he called. He lives in Rochester Hills.
Yeah.
And he went to KW Living to get everything figured out.
Right.
There's how many offices in between there?
Right.
10, 15?
Yeah.
Drove by all of them to come to our office. But once again, it speaks volumes.
Yeah. Yeah, they got something special going on.
Look at the numbers. That's it.
Yeah. Very cool.
Yeah.
So last thing before I wrap up with you, it's something that I wanted to make sure that I talked about because I think it speaks volumes to kind of who you are as a person. Could you share a little bit about what you did for your mother?
So single parent, only child.
Yeah.
We lived with my grandparents till I was 13, and my mom afforded to buy the house next door. We took care of, and still take care of my grandma, but we took care of my grandparents the entire time.
Yeah.
Cut grass, do whatever. My mom couldn't afford a house until I was in 8th grade because she worked her tail off.
Yeah.
She's always been my rock. My grandparents are. I mean, there's a lot of people that I consider my rock, but truly, I can call her anytime. Actually, on the way here, my son's not sleeping, so I called her and asked questions.
Yeah.
But she, about 4, how old was my son? 4. So about 4 years ago, we found out Mom had cancer. And it was bone and breast cancer.
Oh, wow.
So we knew her life was changing. She didn't have to do chemo. She just had to do pills, and it was fine. So everything was going well, and just started noticing some weird things with her.
Yeah.
She couldn't remember things very well, and it was just small things. Like, hey, I forgot what channel this is on. Things started developing more and more. It got to a point where she was working. She was a quality analyst for one of the big banks.
Yeah.
And her work was piling up, and what's not like her? She will work 20 hours a day if it has to.
Yeah.
Piling up. She kept forgetting things. She would put the meat in the cupboard and the plate in the fridge. And
Right.
just things weren't adding up. So we had to sit down and we said, hey, Mom, why don't you take a break? And she talked to her doctors. Her doctor said, yeah, you qualify for some long-term disability.
Yeah.
Or some short-term disability. So she went on short-term disability, and things started fixing a little bit, right? So we started noticing some things come back around, and I said, Ma, it's time. She said, what do you mean? I said, it's time to retire.
Yeah.
I said, no matter what it's going to be, I'm going to retire you. She's only 60. She just turned 61.
Mm-hmm.
And it's time to retire. And I told her, you need to work for me, I'll pay for your bills. You need insurance, we'll hire you to get insurance for you. So December of last year, we went on short-term disability.
Yeah.
And that was the start of it. And she basically didn't have to work. And we finally got it figured out to where Mom's retired.
Yeah.
Right? She's done for. And she knows she needs anything, she calls and we take care of it.
Right.
Bills need paying for, we'll take care of it.
Yeah.
I will not let her work another day in her life because she deserves to have that life now.
Yeah.
And she did enough with me. I went to Catholic Central, which is not cheap.
Right.
and single parent.
Right.
Right. She bought 2004, right before the market crashed.
Right.
She bought for $130. In 2009, that house was worth $60,000. Yet she was paying $130 for it.
Yeah.
And she did everything she could. She maxed out credit cards, put me through school.
Right.
Hey, you need to be in. Here's my credit card. Here's tuition for the year.
Yeah.
You need a car. Let's find you a car. So I'm doing everything I can to keep her retired and fix her mental health.
Yeah.
And as far as the cancer goes, it seems like it's gone because that's great. But the memory side, it's still rough.
Yeah.
And when we had her last test, it was due to stress levels, they say.
Yeah.
Because she wasn't sure about insurance. She wasn't sure about money.
Right. Yeah. It's hard on a person.
And we had a family meeting and we figured it all out and it's taken care of. And things are slowly coming together, but it's going to be done. She's going to be done working forever. And
that's awesome.
And if whatever, whatever industry says she has to work again, she's coming to work for me.
Yeah.
And she's going to be just putting papers in a file.
Right.
Put that alphabetical order, you're done for the day.
Right.
And we're taking care of the rest.
Yeah.
So
that's incredible.
It's, and that's the thing with our real estate, because when I first got in, they say that's life-changing money.
Yeah.
And I didn't know what that meant.
Right.
And now being able to retire a parent,
yeah,
that's life-changing money.
Yeah.
And you don't realize that.
Yeah. You changed the quality of her life.
That's it. And it's rough because she's a worker. She's worked since she's been 16. So she doesn't like this.
Right.
She'll call me and I go, "What are you doing today?" She was sitting on the couch. I go, "What do you want to do?"
Yeah.
She's like, "I don't know." Well, whatever you want to do, let's know.
Right.
You want me to bring the kids over? We'll bring the grandkids over.
Yeah.
You need me to come over and clean some gutters? We'll do that.
That's awesome.
Whatever you need, we're there for, and we will keep her retired until she's done forever.
Right. That's really cool. Yeah, I think I wanted to hear it from you because I've heard the story and I just wanted to share it because I think it speaks volumes to who you are, and hopefully, if anybody listens and is thinking about an agent, obviously that would probably speak volumes to them too, because most people hold family pretty dear.
It's, my father left us at a very young age, and my grandparents stepped in to be my second parents. And I look at people that come from situations that aren't, and 90% of people that actually have a 2-parent household and are happy and healthy.
Yeah.
It's not very common anymore.
No.
And I want to work with everybody. You can be happy and healthy in your relationship. You can be in a terrible situation. I want everybody to have that, because if I can take that one thing off your plate that can make you have more time with a family member, let me do it.
Right.
And that goes beyond afterwards. I mean, after we closed on a deal, one of my clients needed to be with their family for somebody. I sat while they had an inspection done after the deal's done.
Right.
I've already been paid. I have no relation to them
Right.
now. And I went after for weeks to make sure everything was taken care of so they could be family members.
Yeah. No, it's huge.
And that's what every agent should strive for.
Right.
That's what we're doing. We're here to serve our clients.
I agree.
Even after.
Yep.
Like, the money is great, but that's not what it's about.
Right. Money will follow. Do the right things.
Exactly.
Awesome. Well, thank you. I appreciate you coming in today.
Thanks for having me.
And we will share your socials at the bottom in the credits, I believe. So if anybody wants to reach out to you, just real quick, what's the name of your real estate team?
So we are Above and Beyond Realty. You can find us on Facebook. Our website's being developed as we speak, but Above and Beyond Realty, or my personal is Jacovetti, Keller Williams Living is my Facebook page.
Okay. And what's the name of your trivia company?
It is Jacovetti Entertainment. Really hard with the names. We're Jacovetti Entertainment. We're in 20 locations right now. We're looking to add more. So if anybody's looking for work too, they can reach out to us because we're always hiring.
Awesome. All right. Well, thanks a lot, Jacob. I appreciate you coming in today.
Thanks for having me, buddy.